Hi, I'm Coach Landry, and the topic is what's your conflict style? When you get in a fight with somebody, are you a defensor? Are you an avoider? Are you an attacker? All these things are really important to solving conflict. Sometimes you may be someone who has an incompatible conflict style, meaning you don't come right together and try to solve it when your feelings come down. One holds a grudge, one doesn't. These are really important, okay? I think there are 6 styles to conflicts, and I'm going to go through each one and you need to kind of try to identify with what style you are, and this will tell you a lot about yourself. Okay, number one are the avoidance. People who avoid tend to run for the hills at any sign of conflict or trouble. They might feel deeply uncomfortable, even at the slightest mention of a raised voice. Most of conflict feels like a threat, and avoidance will want to retreat and to avoid panic, and it festers, and then it can go nuclear in them, either implode, explode, because it's not dealt with in a timely manner. That's what avoidance deal with. Okay. Then we have brawlers. Okay. Brawlers like to throw their dukes up and often blur the line between fighting fair and swinging below the belt, right? They go up and down, right? One moment they're civilized with you, the next moment they're going so low that they've taken you back to the point to where you can't even make a comment because you're so flabbergasted by what you just heard. Often intensely competitive brawlers can perceive intense threat as conflict, and they want to overpower and threaten in order to win. Brawlers can cause a lot of damage to themselves and others because in the heat of the moment, they aren't thinking about the impact and the words of their action. They're usually just tossing them out there for effect. Okay. Number 3 would be conciliators. Okay, conciliators are while being civilized is not necessarily always bad. They tend to want to rush through difficult emotions and uncomfortable situations, and it means putting a band-aid on it, right? Hey, let's just be okay. All right, let's not fight. Like in the middle of the argument, they're already like that, right? So nothing's actually been solved, but they don't want to fight anymore. They're not avoiders, they're not brawlers. They're somewhere in between where they don't see what the big deal is. Let's just band-aid it up, okay? Then you have number 4, debaters. Some of us tend to intellectualize conflict and dive into lengthy ideological dialogue, right? When we experience conflict. While healthy debate is important in order to get to the matter of a subject, there are 2 risks in being a debater, okay? Number 1 is you ignore emotions and the lived experience in order to talk about the overall philosophy. And it's not a bad thing, right? Those kind of people, actually, they say debaters are some of the best at actually getting to the core of the problem. But number 2, if we focus on winning the debate, what you'll find is that in you're skilled and trained in it, not everyone is good at having these type of conversations, so they'll feel drowned in it. Okay. Number 5 is devil's advocate. Devil's advocate values disagreement for disagreement's sake. In one sense, this is a healthy way to approach conflict because you're both agreeing that you disagree. A healthy devil advocate who works from a place of empathy uses their ability to kind of bring up issues from a different perspective. They think they're widening you on your education of the issue that maybe you're not looking at all from perspectives. Often these people fall in the trap of trying to come at you from a different angle because you didn't agree with the first angle, so they'll give you another angle of the argument in order to help maybe get what they want from you if they say it differently, right? So devil's advocates start coming from like 5 different perspectives, right? All because you're scratching your head going, I disagreed with the first one, and now you're basically saying the same thing 5 different ways. Those are devil's advocates. Okay. Number 6 would be cooperatives. Understanding the conflict that is a natural part of life. Resolving is uncomfortable but necessary. Cooperatives take their time with conflict and they seek to humanize the other side even if they can't reach an agreement. They do what they can to carefully work through things with all parties involved. Typically, these people are more empathetic and understanding type of personalities with human beings in general. They practice emotional regulation so that they don't have to run away or fight or experience it another day, right? So where do our conflict styles come from? Nature, personality, body chemistry, nurture, social location, where you are in the world, family systems, the roles you played as a child in your family, past experiences with conflict, whether that be a negative, traumatic, education, what we're taught directly, what our background is, maybe it's your profession, modeling what we learn indirectly from watching our parents, not just the roles we played, but watching others and observing. Media consumption, what we listen to, what we see, the stakes, the impact that an issue may have on your life or them can change the role that you want to be. So don't be stuck with a conflict style, right? The way to think about it is once you're aware of a conflict style and you know your partners or your conflict style, take some time to unearth the personal history that may have caused that style, okay? Therapy can often be a vital help for people who have past trauma that leads to their style, right? Number 2, identify which new style you would like to learn or avoid or lean towards, okay? Number 3, work on new skills that actually align with you and your partner's goals, or if you're working on it personally, just your own personal goals, okay? Conflict styles are a big deal. They're often taught, often about by therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, because once you know your conflict style, it's kind of like the 5 languages of love. You start to learn about your core of who you are and maybe what has led you down the path to make the decisions that you've done. So I hope this information was helpful. And if it was, just use it in your life to do something positive and progressive for yourself. If you struggle with these kind of things, you can contact me on the link below and, set up a session and we can go through these things. But remember, watch these videos, 3 to 5 times if you need to really absorb the information. And what you'll find is you'll see some powerful change start to happen in yourself. And if you want to work with me personally, like I said, contact me on the link below and I will talk to you soon.